Welcome to this presentation, e-learning versus traditional learning. We're going to see the e-learning definition. E-learning is learning utilizing electronic technologies to access educational curriculum outside of a traditional classroom. In most cases, it refers to a course, program, or degree delivered completely online. The traditional learning they are suitable for young children, teenagers, and young adolescents who are yet to join the workforce. Regular attendance in classes helps them interact with other individuals of their own age, be a better disciplined, follow a regular schedule, and improve their physical fitness and mental alertness. This is the traditional learning is the education in a classroom with a teacher and using uh, common things for learning. The advantage of e-learning when comparing learning an identical course in a traditional framework to a computer-mediated learning framework, students have expressed higher satisfaction from the computer-mediated learning and rate the learning as more effective than in the traditional framework. Computer-mediated online learning is more effective and interactive. Because the students express higher satisfaction, they rated as more effective than that in the traditional frameworks. In in the e-learning, we have many student tools because we have the computer. We have software for presentation, software for tracking studs, studies, ebooks, multimedia, knowledge objects, and many other software. The next is components. E-learning includes many components that are familiar and we have the same component in traditional learning and in e-learning, uh, such a presentation of ideas by the students, group discussions, arguments, and many other forms of conveying information and accumulating knowledge. Uh, we have the time. In learning, the students have time for digesting the information and responding. The students have time to improve their knowledge and the time they want. The communication. This is an advantage. The communication can be online and offline. The teacher can answer in immediately or send a message or email as a offline answer. There are enhanced communication among the learners, both as regards quality as regards urgency. Another point is the sharing of knowledge. The knowledge can be transferred from the learner to learner, from teacher to learner, and reverse. Discussions, commentaries, as the student can ask without restriction. All this is permitted by e-learning. It promotes the equality. E-learning itself promotes the equality because students feel included and in the groups. There are no restrictions. Student is motivated and involved in the process. They can discuss equal to equal. Motivation. The student's motivation is high due to the involvement in matters that are closer to them and to the use of technology. The place of study. The learning takes place with no fixed location. He can take classes at home or in another place. The cost. This is supposed to be more cheaper study with e-learning because the institutions are not paying classroom personnel another higher cost. Now we're gonna see the difference in traditional learning from e-learning. Point is the classroom discussions. Traditional learning. In the traditional learning, the teacher usually talks more than the students. In e-learning, the student talks at least as much as or more than the teacher. In the learning process, the learning is conducted with the whole class participating. There is almost no group or individual study. This is in traditional learning. At the other way, e-learning. In the e-learning, the learning process takes place in groups or by the individual student. In the subject matter, the traditional learning says that the teacher conducts the lesson according to the study program and the existing curriculum. In e-learning, the student participates in determining the subject matter. The studying is based on various sources of information, including web data banks and net experts located by the student. Emphasis in the learning process. The traditional learning says that students learn what and how. The student and the teacher are busy completing the required subject matter quota. The students are not involved in inquiry-based education and in solving problems, but rather in tasks set by the teacher. The e-learning says that the students learn how and less what. The learning includes research study, which combines searching for and collecting information from web data banks and authorities on the communications network. The learning is better connected to the real world. The subject matter is richer and includes material in different formats. What about the motivation? In traditional learning, the student's motivation is low and the subject matter is distant from them. In e-learning, the student's motivation is high due to the involvement in matters that are closer to them and because the use of technology. The teacher's role. In traditional learning, the teacher is the authority. In e-learning, the teacher directs the student to the information. It means that the teacher acts as a guide or a person who gives some key points to find the information correctly. The location of learning. Traditional learning. The learning takes place within the classroom and the school, and in e-learning, the learning takes place with no fixed location. You can study from home, from work, and other places. About the lesson structure, in traditional learning, the teacher dictates the structure of the lesson and the division of time. In e-learning, the structure of the lesson is affected by the group dynamics. That's all. Thank you very much.